and carts around the prayer grounds and tourist centers.
They had several blasts in the past, especially during festive seasons. So, the police command in the plateau is not taking any chances. Some of the measures put in place are several checkpoints with intensified vehicular search across the state.
We have put all man-material combination together to ensure that the Salah is not only peaceful, but violence-free and tranquil. So we have a ban on procession, we have a ban on motorcycles, we have a ban on cart walkers and wheelbarrow pushers, not to take anything towards the recreation center. And we are going to have what we call robust visibility policing. The police will be there to make sure that all security networking and the needs of the people are met.
We have already strategized by station our staff in all the sensitive locations, especially this is Salah festivity, and we have to work alongside with some other security operatives. We came out with guidelines on how we will synergize together with them. Our men are going to be stationed in most of the crisis-prone areas.
It's not only the security operatives that are strategizing. Leaders of the Muslim faith also believe all will be well as they employ measures to check violence.
It's not about taking alcohol, any intoxicant, and such. So these are my advice to the youth, particularly.
All parties agree that the use of fireworks, knockouts, as well as burning of tires during the festive period will not be allowed.
At a time, many Nigerians are still not sure about what to do with the newly enacted Freedom of Information law. The Nigerian Army has set up an FOI office in line with the provisions of the Act. The implementation of the law, according to the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Ibrahim Atahiru, is aimed at ensuring transparency, accountability and professionalism in the Nigerian Army. He gave the assurance that prompt responses for access to information relating to the Army will be given. Now, a dispute over an age-old funeral rite has resulted in a violent conflict, leading to even more deaths in a village in Anambra State. The crisis was sparked by a disagreement between a Catholic priest and leaders of Umudioka community over who has the right to perform the final graveside ritual. Our community report tonight takes a look at this development.
Etisala, now you're talking.
It's a solemn moment, the last opportunity for loved ones to say their final farewells to the dead. An age-long tradition, usually done without any rancor. But that is not the case in Umudioka, Oka, a community in Oka South local government area of Anambra State. Residents of the community differ with the Catholic Church over the dust-to-dust rite performed at the graveside of a person being buried. For them, it's an abomination.
A woman will not perform dust-to-dust rites to her husband because it is taboo. It is an abomination in our place. That's what we are quarreling. Not generally, if you ask them now, they blanket the whole thing. They say, we refuse dust-to-dust rites. We perform dust-to-dust rites. A man marries a woman to have a child who will bury him when he dies.
Ironically, villagers here are predominantly Roman Catholics, and they have their own cathedral. The church is involved in most of the festive activities, from births to weddings and deaths.
For the Catholic Church, we do the dust-to-dust rites, both husband and wife, to wish each other a farewell. It's just act of love. But for them, they believe that is an abomination. we don't insist. We don't tell Oka people to do it. We tell the Catholics in Oka only. It concerns the Catholics, so it's not binding on non-Catholics. It's not binding.
It is this difference of perspective over a seemingly trivial matter that exploded into violence, for which members of the community blame the administrator of St. Patrick's Cathedral, the Reverend Father Patrick Chukwuma.
And I'm not continue now for total liberation of Oka people.
To justify the position, the chairman of the village youth cited the Synod Act 2010 on funeral rites.
Surprisingly, when they started this door-to-door business, Synod Act 2010, go and look for it. I will give you if you want. Synod Act, this synod business they do is not a Catholic dogma nor an article of faith. That they should make it to be optional. If people embrace it, let them go on. But if they refuse it, that they should stay clear. Surprisingly, Chukwuma is causing trouble, creating so much problem.
This present bishop has said it is compulsory for Catholics only, And if even the consider of Oka, customary marriage rules and burials in Oka town, 1906, Article 7C, 3 said, Christian or traditional burial will be according to one's faith. Ceremonies combining both Christian and traditional faiths are not allowed. It's in their constitution.
The tensions generated by the funeral controversy are still very evident at the village hall. Many call for the removal of Reverend Father Chukwuma. This issue has boiled over to the point where the state governor, Peter Obi, has to step in.
Let there be peace in your place.
Indeed, it's a grave situation where tradition clashes with religion, but the matter of burial leading to bloodletting needs to be checked. Otherwise, the result will simply become a deadly vicious circle. Death, more burials, more conflicts, and more deaths. Henry Ogunjimi, reporting for Channels Television News.
Etisala, now you're talking.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Ogu youths demand apology from the Senate over child marriage bill. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.